What if being meek actually means being dangerous? Okay, let's just dive right into this. For centuries, the Beatitudes, those super famous sayings from the Sermon on the Mount, have been treated like these really soft, gentle platitudes, kind of like something you'd see embroidered on a throw pillow at your grandma's house. But when you actually dig into the original historical and linguistic context of these words, that whole assumption just completely shatters. We're looking at a text that was deeply subversive, psychologically profound, and frankly, a little dangerous. So, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're totally transforming our understanding of the Sermon on the Mount. We're going to decode it not as a list of nice, polite suggestions for being a good person, but as the literal constitution of a radically new kingdom. As you'll see, it completely restructures human desire and directly challenges the very foundations of human empires. Here's our quick roadmap for today. Number 1, the Mountain Constitution. Number 2, decoding the original Greek. Number 3, the shadow of virtue. Number 4, subverting the Roman Empire. And finally, number 5, the cost of the kingdom. All right, section 1, the Mountain Constitution, a new Torah for a new humanity. So there's this deliberate architectural shift happening in the text that is absolutely crucial to catch. The writer, Matthew, actually structures his entire gospel around 5 major discourses, perfectly mirroring the 5 books of the Torah. Jesus isn't just up there giving a nice speech. He is acting as a new Moses. Think about it. Moses received the law on Mount Sinai with thunder and fear, standing as a receiver, right? He gave it to a nation that was really still learning how to be a nation. But Jesus, he goes up a mountain and he sits down. In Jewish tradition, standing was for reading scripture, but sitting was for authoritative interpretation. By sitting, Jesus is delivering a new covenant with total authority, aimed at a brand new humanity. He's not just reading the Torah, he's fulfilling it. He's authoring it. Moving right along to section 2, decoding the original Greek, words lost in translation. To really grasp what's going on here, we have to recognize that our familiar English translations have completely lost the explosive meaning of the original text. Take the word blessed. In the original Greek, that word is makarios. Now, today, we usually equate a blessing with, feeling happy or getting a promotion or just having good external circumstances. But makarios means something entirely different. It literally means to be fully resourced from within. It's about possessing this deep inner sufficiency that external circumstances just cannot touch. It's not some fleeting emotion, it's a whole state of being. The ancient Greeks actually used this exact word to describe the gods, beings so perfectly complete they needed absolutely nothing. And Jesus takes this concept and shatters it wide open, saying the truly blessed person remains whole even when their circumstances are absolutely devastating. And then there's meek. Blessed are the meek. The Greek word here is praus. When our modern ears hear meek, we immediately think doormat, right? We think weak. But Aristotle actually used the word praus to describe anger disciplined by love. It's power under control. Think of it like a wild, massively powerful stallion that has been broken. It could literally kill you with one kick, but it yields perfectly to the rider. The Greek Old Testament calls Moses the meekest man on earth. Remember, this is the exact same Moses who shattered the tablets of the law in righteous fury and brought plagues down upon an entire empire. So the takeaway here is that meekness is definitely not weakness. It is the disposition of a person who has surrendered their ego so completely that they become dangerous only at exactly the right time and remain incredibly gentle at every other time. Well, what about blessed are those who mourn? The word used here is pentheo. This isn't just your run-of-the-mill sadness over having a bad day at work. In ancient Greek, pentheo was reserved for the most intense, gut-wrenching kind of grief, like lamenting over a completely destroyed city. So why on earth would Jesus call this blessed? Because true mourning in this context is the capacity to feel the tremendous weight of the fall. It's grieving over the fact that the world is fundamentally broken. When you see deep injustice and you weep over it, that is pentheo. The person who has lost the capacity to mourn has ultimately lost the capacity to love. It's the heavy, heavy cost of caring deeply. All right, let's get into section 3, the shadow of virtue, the archetypal layer. This is where we uncover the psychological depths of the text, because, and this is fascinating, every single virtue has a dark doppelganger. Just look at how easily our own egos can fake a spiritual life. The true beatitude of being poor in spirit has a shadow, and it's false humility. You know the type, the person who constantly performs how worthless they are while secretly feeling incredibly proud of how humble they sound. Mourning can easily twist into self-indulgent melancholy, where someone wears their sadness as a permanent identity and just refuses any comfort. Meekness, if we aren't careful, rots into passive resentment, where you never say what you actually think, but you bitterly resent everyone around you for not reading your mind. Mercy can just become enabling cowardice, refusing to speak hard truths to people who need to hear them. And being a peacemaker? Well, that often degrades into mere conflict avoidance. That's where you just postpone the inevitable blow-up, because true, honest confrontation makes you uncomfortable. The deep spiritual reality we're getting at here is learning to tell the difference between honest virtue and its performative shadow. True poverty of spirit doesn't know it's poor in spirit. It simply is. It doesn't sit around comparing its humility to someone else's pride. Living the true spiritual life demands that we strip away all these fake doppelgangers. Which brings us to Section 4, Subverting the Roman Empire, the Political Hard Edge. We really need to look impartially at how these words would have landed in the first century, because they were a direct, hard-hitting assault on the very foundations of human empires. Just consider the stark contrast between the Roman dream and the kingdom of Jesus. Rome had its own Beatitudes, effectively carved into their stone monuments. Blessed are the powerful, the rich, those who crush their enemies. Rome maintained its peace, the famous Pax Romana, through the sheer, unadulterated terror of crucifixion. The entire message was about ultimate domination. And right in the middle of that occupied, terrified territory, a seated rabbi says, "Blessed are the poor, blessed are the meek, blessed are the merciful." Think about the political implications of that. If the meek inherit the earth, then Rome's violent seizure of it is a complete failure. If the merciful receive mercy, then the merciless empire is built on sand. It was an absolutely, completely subversive constitution. And as the source material points out, these ancient words remain equally offensive and challenging today. Look at our modern meritocracy. Our cultural beatitudes today might read something like, "Blessed are the self-made, the massively successful, the influencers who curate the absolutely perfect life." Yet the kingdom text comes in and says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit." Impartially speaking, the text suggests that the very things the modern world tells us to be the most proud of, our extreme independence, our self-sufficiency, our perfectly curated personal brand, are presented here as the exact obstacles to true blessing.
Finally, Section 5, the cost of the kingdom, the already and not yet.
Notice the incredible tension playing out in the text here. Every single beatitude has a present tense and a future tense. The poor in spirit, theirs is the kingdom right now today. But those who mourn, they mourn right now, but they will be comforted in the future. The meek live meekly right now, but they will inherit the earth later. This right here is the engine of the entire New Testament text. It's this profound tension of living in a kingdom that is already here in the present, but not yet fully consummated in the future. You are meant to live inside this tension, not try to quickly resolve it. So, what does this all mean for us? How do you actually apply this? The source text offers a specific formation challenge to expose our deep addiction to control. Try doing this. Sit in complete silence for 10 minutes with your hands open, palms facing up. Don't pray, don't read anything, don't try to mentally solve a problem from work. You are physically practicing the posture of being poor in spirit. You're literally training your body and your mind to receive rather than to grasp, perform, or conquer. If you found value in decoding the psychology and the rich history of this incredible text with us today, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share this explainer. It seriously helps the channel grow so much, and it allows us to keep bringing you these deep visual dives into complex source materials. I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought to mull over. If you were to live the next decade of your life as if the Beatitudes were literally true, like as a hard description of reality and not just some nice, fluffy ideal, what would you actually have to give up? And what might you gain that you can't even begin to imagine right now? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more explainers. I'll catch you in the next one.